called Mission Impossible? Well, this is... I see the queen! There is a queen! Hello everyone, my name is Nella and I'm a new beekeeper. And this is my new hive. Well, two hives actually at this point, and probably the most dramatic two hives that you've ever heard of. Why are they dramatic, you might ask? Well, there are a few reasons to that. Let me give you a brief profile on how it actually went with this hive on the right, which was the first hive that we got. So surprisingly, my first inspection went very well. The first thing I did when opening the hive and taking out the first frame was to actually spot this red dot that I was looking for, and that was achieved. Afterwards, I moved slowly through all the frames, like really inspecting them one by one, super carefully, turning them around 360 degrees, trying to understand, if there is any chance for potential disease. That went well as well, since I found no insects that could have probably promoted this disease within the hive, which meant that goal number 2 was ticked as well. Then the goal number 3 was to find the baby larva, which I did right away, and I even took some cute videos, as these were the first baby larvas I've ever seen in my life. Then the time for the second inspection came, which was done right 10 days after the first inspection. I was told that 10 days is a very good rule, especially when it comes to the May season, when they're most active, not to miss on any new opportunities to create, a new hive, or to really spot anything that might be wrong. So that was exactly the rule I was following. The time for the inspection number 3 came, and that's where all the drama began. Once I've lifted the roof of the second floor, I've realized that the bees started building the new queen bee cells on the second floor. This is not really a good thing to see, because earlier we have placed a queen bee separator between the floors, meaning that the worker bees were easily able to move freely between the floors, and the queen had to stay on the first floor just to do her main job, which was to produce the new baby larva. In this case, they say that everything is supposed to run well. Well, in my case, it didn't. I suppose this could have been because the pheromones of the queen were not equally spread between the floors, so somehow the separator that we had did not really allow the bees on the second floor to feel the presence of the queen bee on the first floor, and therefore they started building the new queen cells. The second reason, of course, could have been that they wanted to swarm because they were overproducing themselves and they were starting to overpopulate the hive, which is why they decided that they will raise the new queen on the second floor now, and ultimately at some point leave my beautiful hive. What I did next was that I eliminated all this queen cell development, because during my courses I've heard that this is a very important step to do once you see that bees are getting ready to swarm. And oh Lord, I wish at that time I knew that it was a major mistake I have made. The reason why it was not a good idea to do that is because a few days later I found a dead queen bee. I just approached the hive, and the first thing I saw on the floor in front of the entrance to the hive was a bee with a red dot on it. That's where I knew the things were nothing close to being good. To understand what happened next, you can just check out the short that I posted a few days ago. Basically, I went to my friend Beekeeper, who gave me 4 queen cells with the baby larva in them. I had to place these queen cells inside the hive in between the floors so that they can easily grow the new queens if they needed it. Of course, I was expecting them to use this opportunity and grow the new queen cells. But a few days later, when I have reopened the hive for the next inspection, I have realized that they killed all those queen cells, which simply means that all this time they had a new queen inside the hive, which has killed my old queen with the red spots. Although I couldn't find the new queen with that inspection, I was seeing the new baby larvae developments, and I was sure that the queen is there and that everything is nice and rolling again. Yes, as they say in beekeeping, things are never easy with these bees. Since a few days later, when I came to just sit next to the bees and enjoy the nice weather, I saw a new queen bee laying dead in front of the hive entrance. And so now I just came to do my next inspection to understand if there is again a third new queen which decided to kill the two previous queens, or if they are currently queenless and I should panic again and go to my beekeeper again to get the queen cell developments, or to call another beekeeper and get from him the new queen bees themselves. This is something that I'm about to find out today with the inspection. For my inspection today, as always, I will need a few crucial tools. The first tool is the smoker, which is activated by now. The second tool is a brush, which I will need to remove the bees that are stuck to the frame if I need to inspect that frame better. Tool number 3 is the scraper, which can do two things for you. It can help you to remove the wax in between the frames so as to move easier within the hive. And the second thing that you can do with it is to actually very carefully move the frames. Finally, last but not least, is my best friend, the bench, where I will put one of the hive floors once I move on to the second half. I'm starting by calming them down at the entrance and then inside these two holes which are located on the second floor. I will then remove the rooftop and the other part of it. Here is when you will need the scraper to lift the plastic part and put some smoke inside as well. I'll place it next to the entrance. We start with lifting the second frame slightly, not to hurt the bees, and taking it out to see what's happening on this frame. This frame is full with honey, although the quantity of bees is not really that crazy. The amount of honey that they're producing and some pollen is significant. You can also see some queen cell developments on this frame, which is an indication of what I said before, that something is wrong. I don't see the queen bee on this frame, which means that I can put it down and move on to the other frames. Next is frame number 1, which is normally the hardest one because it's the one that is stuck to the wall of the hive, also full with honey, and there is no queen. I forgot to mention that at this point, since there is a very weird situation happening, we removed the frame which was the separated between the two floors, so that in case there is a new queen, indeed she can move throughout the floors freely and her pheromones are spread equally, and bees basically know that she's there so that they don't produce the new queen. But as we can see, it's not the case because they are producing the new queens. Frame number 3 also has some honey and there is no queen bee here. Frame number 4 is empty. This is an experimental frame which I put just with the wires on without any wax to see if they'll be able to develop the wax fast or not. Bees are actually quite loud from what I can hear. This normally is an indication that there is no queen. They're putting new honey here. Where are you hiding the queen, guys? This is the frame number 6. It's gonna be a very heavy frame, which means that you need to move it as slowly as you can, not to squeeze the bees that are in between the frame itself. Wow, this frame weighs I would say some 4 kilos, 5 kilos. It's definitely heavier than my rabbits. And there is an extra wax on top that we can remove with a tool. It's full with honey and also full with pollen. There is a drone that is actively stealing my honey. Sorry, not my honey, their honey. And again, I cannot see the queen. Queen, frame number 7. I don't like, if you guys know what it means when they start making this kind of groups and hanging down, please let me know, because I have heard that if the group looks like a beard, this means that they're trying to swarm. But in any other case, I have no idea what it could mean. There is no queen in here. I think the reason it's so difficult to lift it is because they build a path between the frame and the second floor, meaning that they've attached this path with the wax, and now it's impossible to detach it. Well, I actually just did that. Never thought it would be this difficult. Again, queen cell developments. I love seeing queen cells at this point. There is no queen. There is no queen visible to my eyes. Okay, I'll try to lift it faster so that if there is a queen, she can't fly away from me. Again, this development on the side of the frame. Perhaps it's just because it's connected to the second floor and they have like a free movement between the floors. That's why they attach themselves to the bottom so actively. Another queen cell, but no queen. How is that possible? Okay, well, at least they all look healthy. I'm trying to be very careful with the bees that have fallen down during the inspection, not to step on them. That was so heavy. Okay, careful guys. Okay, as always, second frame comes first. It's quite empty. I'll put it here in the meantime. Bees are very curious what's happening. They're constantly flying closer to me, investigating the space and the invader, i.e. myself. Oops, apologies, that was not the best move. Okay. I put some new frames last time I did an inspection because I saw that the other frames were overpopulated with honey. Consequently, I took out the frames with honey and I put in new frames. That's why not all of them are populated at this point. Frame number 4. And I don't see any new baby larvae, which is a very, very bad indication. Yeah, this is one of the new frames that I was talking about. Still no queen, only drones. This is such an active frame. Looks like something can be potentially happening here. So it's always worth to take another look to see if you've missed something. Normally they can also be present in very active zones, like this zone here, for example, which is inhabited by a lot of bees. But I can't see any extended body that would remind me of the queen. Here comes a very busy, oh my god, that's indeed an extremely busy frame with so many queen cell developments. What are you guys growing queen cells from if you don't have the baby larvae at this point? Is there a queen? Not really. Honestly, I have no idea what to do at this point. There is still no new queen. Let's see what's the situation here. Wow, they really are trying very hard to develop new queens, but I'm not sure how successful this process is. Like, the number of queen cells we have found today is crazy. Have we found any potential queens that could have laid these larvae for them to grow the queen cells? No, which means that the last queen we saw, the young queen that they killed, was actually the last one. Perhaps I'm very blind if I can't spot an existent queen in the hive. Oh, my back will thank me when I'm older. Let me place it back. What I know for sure is that we're not supposed to leave any gaps, because whatever provides the humidity inside the hive will cause illnesses of the bees and other things. So I'm really trying to be careful with closing the gaps as much as I can. The conclusion after having done this inspection is that the colony is healthy because of their quantity and because there are no disease spotted inside, which is very good. The only downside is that there is no queen, or no queen present at this moment. Maybe she has left the hive to mate and she will come back after a few days just to be killed by them again. Just kidding, she'll come back in a few days to lay the eggs, and then the process will start running again. Stay tuned to see what's happening to this hive. The time for the second hive has come. Wow, they are so extremely quiet. And they've been sitting like this for 5 or 6 days now. Which is very interesting. This means that this hive can actually have grown a queen by now. Well, that's what we need to find out. Finally, I get a chance to sit because I'm very old and tired. Okay, I'm not sure if this is pollen or if this is this other thing, I forgot the name right now, that they are carrying around. It needs to be taken out for the inspection of the hive. Now we move on to frame number 1 and we take my favorite tool. Nothing is happening on the frame, which is empty. That is interesting. I actually read a lot about this and I heard that you can mix the frames. By mixing, I mean putting the wired frames together with the waxed and wired frames so that they have an alternative to choose from, and if they get like too busy with the wax, they can move on and build something on the wires. But apparently not in my hive. So many things happen differently in this hive. Great, this frame is still empty. Oh, that's because it's a new hive. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, this is a heavy one that they're feeding from. Just the honey. No queen and no baby larva. And the new queen cell, of course. What else can we expect to see in the hive at this point? You know, if someone sees the queen cell development, like the professional beekeeper, they're probably like scared of what's gonna happen next. In my case, whenever the new queen cell comes, I'm like, that's normal. Let's just keep counting. I must say that my motto has never been let nature be nature, but I guess it is now after I've gotten a hive. These bees are comparatively quiet. Do you guys have a queen anywhere? Please, guys, make it easy for me. The reason you're... Can you hear the sound from here that they're making? They're so much more quiet on these frames than they are in that hive. They are... I'm very sorry. I hope I didn't squeeze you to death. No, I didn't. And that's a success. If I didn't kill one of my bees. Why are they moving in such a weird way, like a wave here? Normally they would do it if there was a queen somewhere. The weird feeling I have is that my intuition is telling me that there are queens everywhere and that I'm just overlooking them. This is impossible. There is no queen here. Okay, another chance. Okay, this is an active one again with some queen cells. I left them some baby larvae here last time, and this time there is no baby larva, meaning that, oh my god, the honey is literally falling on my trousers. Which means that all the babies came out, and more than just the babies, some queens did as well, probably because there are a lot of queen cell developments on this frame. You know the series of movies called Mission Impossible? Well, this is... I see the queen! There is a queen! There is a queen! That's why they're so quiet. Wait, I saw her here somewhere. She's here! Oh my god. Did you... Yes, okay, there is a queen. There is a queen! That's why they're so much more quiet. Wow. This is phenomenal. She's probably a very young queen, so she needs some time now to mate and come back and start laying eggs, because I can see no baby larvae here. Oh my god, I suddenly started feeling like a professional beekeeper. Not everything is that bad here. Unless I squeeze her right now. I'm so happy for you guys. I have all the hope in you. Please don't grow new queens anymore. One is really enough. just focus on maintaining her, preserving her, you know, doing everything for your queen. I hope there is no second queen that I'll see on the following frames now. And oh, they're becoming loud. I'm trying not to squeeze anyone. This is a very heavy frame, so they have a lot of honey to feed from. That's nice. Okay, we're gonna give this hive some time. Okay, the situation of the second hive is the following. We have the queen. We have 9 out of 10 frames inside. Just as I explained before, it's easier for me to move around. They're very silent. They're very satisfied with their lives. They're empowering the queen to go and mate and bring in the new baby larvas in. So this is a very hopeful piece of wood. Compared to this hive, which is bigger, has a huge population of bees, and is growing around 15 queen cells, from which we don't know what will come out and when. The thing is that I tried to bring in the new queen cells already to put inside that hive, and they really didn't like it, which meant that they had the queen at that time, but then they removed that queen, and now I really have no idea what's happening. But I would just like to believe that there is a new queen again that has just left the hive for some days and is actively mating and will come back at some point. Of course, if I see that they continue to behave the way they are behaving now, meaning that they are loud, and after the inspections I again witness no queens inside, this would simply mean that I will have to panic again. I'll try not to overreact, but I will have to panic and get more queen cells, or the queens at this time, which if I do get the queens, I hope that they will accept the queens that I will get for them. And it's a wrap on my first ever beekeeping video. I would like to ask you to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you find the information useful, because the idea of this channel is ultimately to create a community of people who are interested in beekeeping, in farming, in animal rescuing topics, and really share their stories, get inspired from each other, but most importantly, get advice and get better together. Thank you everyone, see you in the next video. Mwah! And if you're a professional beekeeper, or not a professional one, but really know beekeeping well because you read more books on this topic than I do, please let me know what's wrong with my hives. I really want them to succeed. I love them.